If you're ready to say yes to your wealthiest and most abundant life, overflowing bank accounts, and a deep sense of inner fulfillment, well, then you are definitely in the right place. Welcome to the Girl Unfiltered podcast. I'm your host, Helena Grace Donald, and I'm a money mindset expert, success and business coach. But really, all you need to know is that I am obsessed with helping women feel safe and in total flow around money. So let's do this. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Girl Unfiltered podcast. Today, I have Stevie Wright joining me, who is a certified self-love coach and breathwork facilitator. And she specializes in helping women heal their anxiety holistically. But she's spent several years healing herself to go from feeling very disconnected, anxious, playing small, who else relates to that, to completely owning her power and now helps other women to do the exact same. She's a high-level coach to individuals and groups, specifically around self-love and anxiety. And you might be asking, but what does that have to do with money mindset? Well, it has so much to do with money mindset because I'm sure that all of you have dealt with a feeling of wondering whether you are worthy to receive all that you desire, whether you're worthy of charging the kind of money that you desire to charge clients to really hit those income goals. And today, Stevie and I get really raw and vulnerable and go deep into understanding why that's there for so many of us. And we share our own experiences of busting through that. And I know that this is something that Stevie herself massively busted through to get to where she is now in the coaching industry. So I'm really excited to share this interview with you. I would love to just dig right in and start talking about that worthiness point that I know that you talk about a lot in your business. So I know that you struggled with worthiness. Could you just explain or share more with the listeners about what that was for you and what that felt like?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think for me, the reason I became a self-love coach is because I struggled with self-love. I think we always teach what we need. And my struggle with worthiness started really, really young. I had some abandonment issues. And so it was just from, family and life. I dealt with some pretty serious abandonment that I took on as my own and I took on as my fault. So I think I was kind of primed for worthiness pretty early on. And so I think that wound kind of opened itself with my parents. But then as I grew up, there was several things that kind of made me feel like I'm loved for what I do and not for who I am. And so, I'm also a professional singer outside of being a life coach, and I sing at celebrity weddings and, all these different things. And when I was 16, I was on American Idol, and that was another like really formative year for me because when I was on American Idol, I got really far. I auditioned outside of like 150,000 people. Made it to the top 36, like Simon, Paula, Randy, Sing for America, like the whole thing. And I messed up. Like I really blew it on my live performance and then got eliminated the next night. And so I'm giving you the quick version, but this is still a thing. When I got eliminated, after I got eliminated, my life kind of blew up. Because I had to get taken out of school. I moved to LA for a few months with my mom. Had to go to idol school. Like I was 16. I missed my friends. I missed my English teacher. I missed choir practice. I wanted to go home. I didn't like it. I mean, I liked the novelty of it because I got there was so much attention and there was all these like really cool things that being on American Idol afforded you, but still like the overall thing, I actually really wanted to go home. I missed my life. I was a kid and I got eliminated and my life kind of blew up. Like kids at school were mean to me. Either I was too good for them because I was on TV or they made fun of me for my performance. my parents, bless their heart, they were so proud and excited for me, but I could feel their disappointment, which I took on as my fault as well. And so I created this story, I am only good for what I do, what I can do, and for a performance, and not for who I am. And I think that I carried that, as little as, the abandonment stuff, and then everything in between 3 and 16, but those stories really stayed with me into adulthood. And I was seeking validation. Like how it manifested for me, I think, is I was seeking validation from others. I needed to prove myself. I was having anxiety, and not, when people say anxiety, and this is my specialty now, is helping women heal their anxiety. But when people say anxiety, think of anxiety, a lot of times they think, oh, I don't have that. I don't have panic attacks. But anxiety is so much more than panic attacks. It's actually like, perfectionism is a form of anxiety. Overworking is a form of anxiety. Worry is a form of anxiety. Hustling for your worth is a form of anxiety. So all these different forms of anxiety I was riddled with.
Mm-hmm. So do you feel like your anxiety came from this feeling of, I will only be good enough when? I will only be good enough when this happens. And then what were some of the things that you did or you saw yourself do and play out in life after that very traumatic, because it is traumatic experience? Mm-hmm. How did that affect the way you operated on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah. So I would find myself really scared of, and I've been experiencing this recently, and I'm working with it with my own therapist and my own coach. But
thank you for being honest. Yes. Yes.
No shame about that. I'm like, yes. No struggle.
We all are always going through it and always working on ourselves. And I just love when women are like, yeah, I'm still working on it. I am still going through it.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I'm working on it currently with my therapist, and it's this idea of success isn't safe.
Mm-hmm.
Like because the story goes, right? I go success, 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 up, 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 and I reach the pinnacle, right? American Idol, on TV, the whole thing, and then my world comes crashing down, right?
Wow.
And so I've created this belief, and now I'm experiencing a whole bunch of success in my business. And I found in the last 3-ish months that I found that popping up again. Success, 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 success. Let me self-sabotage because it's going to let me self-sabotage before I get too successful, because it's all going to come crashing down.
You just gave me chills, because let's dive into this, because I think so many women have this and we do not talk about it enough. And so many people have a fear of failure. And I actually say, no, we have a fear of success because of all of the attachments that we have to what success means. And we put goals up on our vision board and we say, I want to make this amount of money. I want to achieve this. And we have no real conscious awareness of actually what we believe are the downsides to that. So could you share what some of the downsides you've uncovered felt like for you in achieving those goals?
Yeah. One that has come up for me is, I can't hold this. Like, all these clients are coming in, all this money is coming in, which sounds great. And it is great. Obviously it is great. It's wonderful. I'm very grateful. But there's also, I think, the limiting story, which is, what if I can't hold all this? What if I can't hold all of these clients? What if it's too much responsibility? What if I can't serve them in the way that I want? What if it's actually too much? What if I have no life? That's a big one. What if I'm too successful and I have no life? It's just work. And so I've had to pick apart, and I'm actually not going to use those words, not pick apart. It's actually, I have to lean into love with each of these beliefs and be like, okay, which part of this is true and where's the error in thinking? And is any of this true? And so for example, for me, for one of the ones about, I can't hold this, it's too much. I just don't know what it feels like yet. You're right. I don't, I was telling myself, you're right, Stevie. I don't know how to hold this. I don't know how. That's okay.
Because it's the unknown. We've never experienced it yet. And fear hates the unknown.
So even if it's good.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? You're right. I don't know how to hold this. And that's fine. I'm going to learn as I go, and as more clients come in, as more money comes in, as more responsibility comes in, I'm going to expand. And oh yeah, it feels a little bit wonky right now. It feels a little bit like, oof, okay, let's go, let's do this. But even in the last 2 months, I've experienced like serious expansion and serious up levels because I'm ready, I'm ready. And so my container, with each new level of success, my container is widening.
Could you explain to the ladies what, and I get it and I love that word, the container means for you, so that they can create their own safe containers for all of that goodness as well?
Yeah. So when I think about container, there's a few things that I think of. One is when I'm with a client, is when I'm in a session, I'm creating almost like a force field. I'm creating a container for my clients so that they can come apart, essentially. It's like my coaching is a really beautiful blend between the masculine and feminine, where the masculine creates a container, masculine creates the structure, so that within that structure, within that container, within that space, that really solid, safe space, she can totally come undone, and then we can rebuild.
Yeah.
So that's a container. And then the container for myself is the same thing, like creating the structure for myself so that I can hold it. So being so on top of my meditations, being so on top of my my journaling practice, being so on top of my own nurturing, meaning like just recently, because I've had so much work come in, I've switched my schedule to only work Mondays and Tuesdays because that feels really good for me. So I work back to back, like Mondays and Tuesdays, and I still have a few spots available within those days. And then the rest of the week, Helena, I am taking care of myself.
Okay, so there are some ladies that I know are hearing this. I believe in this. Like, I am like, yes, go girl, who are going, wait, she works 2 days a week. How is that possible? How could I possibly do that? I have to be hustling. I have to work 5 days, 6 days, 7 days a week. How do I switch up? How do I trust? Yeah. So can you share with them how you really got into creating that container for yourself? And still, I know by watching you, you're still having up levels in your success, even doing that. The money hasn't stopped as a result of that. So what is your message for some of the women that are freaking out at the idea of that right now?
Let me first just explain the week to you so that we get better. So Mondays and Tuesdays are my coaching days. The rest of the week I use like Wednesday massages, Thursdays therapy, Friday is my coach, Saturday and Sunday, and like throughout the week, my friends, but a lot of like weekend stuff is my boyfriend, my friends and things like that. But the rest of the week, I'm creating content. So I coach Mondays and Tuesdays, and the rest of my days are breezy in the sense that I don't have clients, but I am creating content. I'm sending out my newsletter. So it's not that I'm not working. It's just my most heavy work where I can't really do anything else except for be totally present with my clients is on Mondays and Tuesdays. And the rest of the week, I'm getting nurtured. I am taking care of myself. I'm filling my cup. And I also like creating content is not hard for me. I love it. It's my favorite thing. Like I'm really good at it. I love doing lives. I don't have any, I never, it's rare for me to not have something to talk about, to not have content. I can just think of shit.
I love it too. Yeah.
That's not the hard part for me. So it doesn't feel like work. It feels like Mondays and Tuesdays, I'm just so committed to my clients and I'm so present for them. And then the rest of the week, I'm taking care of myself and creating content to serve the rest of my audience. And so there's honestly, Helena, I wish there was like some big profound formula or big profound like aha that I could give you. But for me, it was like this moment where all this work was coming in and I had like Mondays at 9 and 3 and Thursdays at 4 and then it's like 7:30, blah, 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 blah. And it was like, I was feeling so frazzled by that. And it would just not feel good to me to have like a schedule going like this and crazy. And so I think it's less about, it's about asking for what you need. You know, it's about creating the structure of how you want to live your life. I think we're in this society of like, I have to do this. Like, this is just how my life has to go. And it's actually like, no, you create your life. You know, you create your life. You are the creator. You are in charge. And so if I want to work fucking 2 days a week, I'm going to work 2 days a week.
Hell yeah. And how did you go from being the frazzled, I have to be working, I have to prove myself, I have to be good enough, to this container of beautiful energy who has the story of, I choose to work 2 days a week and earn X amount of money?
Therapy and coaching.
Yes, right?
Honestly, it's just like I have to, it's the work. I mean, they call it the work because it's work. You know, and that doesn't mean it's always like, the work can be really fun. It's not doom and gloom. It's just, I'm really committed to myself. I'm really committed to my healing. First, I'm more committed to myself than my clients, 100%, which I think I think that makes a good coach. You know, being so committed to yourself before anyone else, because if you're not an embodiment of this work, how can you lead people?
Absolutely.
If you're not integrated in this work, how can you lead people? And so my embodiment and my practices, my meditation, my journaling, feeling, this is kind of like more of like a heady concept rather than like a practical, but this is very real for me. Like feeling into my pain, feeling into the wounding that lives beneath my fears, you know, the wounding that lives beneath my anxiety, the inner child work, the being there for the my inner child, like little Stevie who didn't get what she maybe needed as a little kid, like reparenting her now and nurturing her and parenting her in a way that feels really self-loving so that she can step up into her highest, brightest, most evolved. But it's the work, you know, it's that internal commitment to yourself that I think that is what makes me money as an entrepreneur. It's not,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have my practices and, you know, we can talk about that, but like marketing schmarketing, like what makes me money as an entrepreneur is my internal work, is my energy. My energy is everything. And I can feel it immediately when my energy is off because it shows in my business. It shows in my relationship. It shows in my life. Like that is what makes me money as an entrepreneur. So it's just, I mean, it's so important all around, I think.
Hands down agree, because I talk and speak into this so much, is that I'm speaking because this is me. I was like, let me learn all the strategy. What strategies am I not implementing that are causing me to not reach these income goals, that are causing these blocks? Strategies, marketing, what more can I do? And it was not until I dropped into my story, it wasn't until I dropped into my subconscious and I really focused and made that my paramount, like that was all in on that, my mindset work and my subconscious beliefs. Literally the business took off, my coaching practice took off, everything took off as a result of that. Right. So I just think it's such an important part for us as women, as female business owners, to remember that is paramount. So I am so grateful for you sharing that. And I know that you do a lot of breath work, and that's one of your biggest tools that you use to help break through those anxious feelings and those subconscious blocks. And I had the fortunate experience of actually doing a session with you, and it was crazy. So could you share a little bit about what breath work is in case nobody has experienced it before?
Yeah, absolutely. Breathwork it's my favorite thing to talk about ever, but no, I'm kidding. It's a really ancient healing modality. It comes from the East. It's just now, I think in the last, I think it's just now starting to really become modern and we're seeing it pop up in yoga studios all around LA and all over the world. And it's really this ancient healing modality that allows you to bypass the ego, bypass the mind, and fully get into your body. And I think one of the biggest problems with why we struggle so much with anxiety and depression is because we are living from our neck up. We're living from just our minds, and we're overthinking, and we're hustling, and we're proving, and we're achieving, and we're trying to go, go, go. And we think that if we do more, then I'll be loved. And it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. And so when you can get into the body, which the breath allows you to do, you're kind of like this energetic vessel where you're open to receive new ways of being, new thought patterns. You get downloads. I could connect with the divine, reach higher states of consciousness. You're energetically open to let go of stagnant old energy. You're able to let go of trauma, of old wounding, of old stories. And when you're really connected to the breath, when you're really connected to your body, you're connected to truth.
Wow.
Our minds are not really connected to truth. The thinking mind is not the one that's really connected to intuition. It's the body that's connected to intuition. And so many people are so disconnected from their intuition, so disconnected from their body, or walking around as just heads. And so breath work allows you to really get into the body and into the heart. And that's why it's so impactful. I mean, my neighbors must think I'm like crazy, because my clients come over, and sometimes people are crying or screaming or laughing hysterically. And it's just all releasing energy and coming back to the truth of who you are. And so breathwork is a huge part of my practice for myself. And I use it in my 6-month one-on-one coaching program for my one-on-one clients, because it's great to talk about our shit, but until we really feel, we're not going to heal. So my program and my work is all about embodying, deconstructing the old, deconstructing the stories, deconstructing the beliefs that are no longer serving you, and then integrating with the breath.
Yes, I love that. And for somebody who's like, but I breathe every day, what is the difference between breath work and, could you just explain it? I don't know if you can actually do a breath right now, but how it's different from how we might be breathing in meditation or on a daily basis.
Yeah, sure. So there's actually all types of breath work. There's holotropic breath work, there's pranayama breath work, there's kundalini, there's all sorts of different kinds of breath work. It depends on what kind you're doing, but essentially you're doing a certain breath pattern, and you're doing it for an extended period of time. So when you're doing meditative breath, for an example, one of the breaths that I teach is it's a 3-part breath. And this is what I taught you, Helena, where it's all through the mouth. It's inhale, exhale, only through the mouth. And it goes belly, chest, exhale. So it sounds like this. So you're breathing the breath, you're bringing the breath into the belly, up into the chest, and then exhaling. And when you're doing that for 45 minutes, I have people go to different dimensions. I have people it's wild. So that's one type of breath. There's also just as simple as breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth for 45 minutes can be really, and deep breaths can be really, really transformative. So there is all sorts of breath patterns. It's just a matter of what the facilitator is teaching and doing it for an extended period of time so that you can get into the body.
Hey guys, before we dive into the rest of this amazing interview with Stevie, I would love if you guys could just do me a little favor. It would mean the world to me if you could go and hit the subscribe button from wherever you're listening right now. It might seem really small and redundant, but it means that more people will be able to find this podcast, and more people will be able to improve their money mindset and empower themselves financially and in their business. And that would just mean so much to me. So please go and hit the subscribe button. Even better if you could leave a review, and I would so appreciate it. Thank you.
Amazing. And when I experienced it, it was honestly like, I want to say it was like having an out-of-body experience, but actually it's an inner body experience.
Right.
In a weird way. It was like I was conscious, but all of these downloads were happening because my body, I have never, ever felt my body vibrate on the level that it was. My hands clamped up, but I felt this surging energy going through me. And I was actually going through quite a tough time in life when I came for that session. And I got so much clarity from it. And I truly do believe that so many of our traumas live within the body. Yeah. So how has releasing those traumas and changing those patterns had a knock-on effect in your life and business now?
Yeah. The nervous system is such a huge part of how we show up in the world. And if we don't feel a underlying sense of safety in the body, then it's going to be really hard to find safety in the world. And so we'll do things to try to find safety. So like some of my ways of trying to find safety have been, achieving more. Right? That'll make me safe. That'll make me loved. Never stopping, going, never slowing down. Because if like the story is when I slow down and I'm present, then that's scary, right? Then I can't control. Then I just have to like be in the unknown, and that feels scary. So controlling, we do all these things to try to find safety, when actually safety is available to us at any time we want. It lives in our bodies. But because of the way we were raised, if we've had trauma, done to our bodies, then we think that we can't trust our bodies. If we've been told, for example, like if we've been told, maybe not in words, but in energy, like you need to be skinny in order to receive love.
Girl, that was the story of my life. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so then our bodies don't feel like quite a safe place, because how can they be safe if we have to mold them and bend them and shift them and do something, then we can get love.
Yeah.
So the nervous system, trauma, and working with the body is so important, because if the nervous system doesn't know that it's safe, then it's going to be hard to find safety in the real world. And then we're going to just be hustling and grinding and forcing our way through life instead of surrendering and leaning into trust.
And pushing it away as a result, because when is it ever good enough? And if we're placing this neediness and this scarcity and this lack of security on our goals, whether they're financial, personal, emotional, we're pushing it away. We're putting energetic blocks up. Yes. So it sounds like you really worked on releasing those expectations and knocking those walls down. And when you knocked wall by wall down, what happened for you? I think your story is beautiful.
Thank you. Oh man, it's so much. So let's see. I mean, as I've done this work, my business has gone boom, 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 and just kind of like expanded and expanded and expanded. And more clients came in, more money came in. For me, like also personally, I've noticed that I feel less of that. To be honest, like maybe 8 months ago, I would have never been this vulnerable on a podcast.
Really?
Oh, yeah, no.
Wow.
No, I mean, I feel myself letting myself be seen in my mess, and knowing that I think one of the main ways that I protected myself was I put on this like guru Stevie hat, like Guru Stevie, who like is the coach and can lead the way. And that's what pushed people away. That did not make me money. Being in the know did not make me money. Like that did not make people feel safe, because it's like, they don't want to learn from a know-it-all. They don't want to learn from like the almighty. That's not the thing. But it was my being Guru Stevie was my way of protecting myself, because I didn't feel I in my own, upbringing, I didn't feel safe to not know. Like I had to know where I was going to major in college when I was like 13, what I was going to major in college, where I was going to go to school, what I was going to do for my life, like starting retirement, 401k, like young. And I had this thing of like, I have to be in the know. And so I put that on, like I put on the hyper aware of like, I'm in the know, I can lead the way, I can show you and it's like, it's like, so I've broken through that. Thank God. but that was one of my big protectors. And so as I've let that go, I've been able to really let myself be seen, which actually feels so good, actually be seen in the good and the bad, and I don't even want to call it good and bad, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
To be seen in that and to be loved in that. And also actually that's what makes me money. Who the hell knew?
Right? My imperfections are the things
that'll make me money. What the hell is going on here? That's been really fun to realize and to step into. It's been really fun. My relationship, like my partner and I have been together for almost 6 years now, and it has been rough. It has been a trek. And there were many times when we weren't sure if we were going to make it. And doing this work has opened up a layer of love that I didn't know that I was capable to even give,
Yeah.
I mean, even more than receive. I didn't know that I was able to love in this way. And it's like this thing where it's still not there. It's not rainbows and butterflies all the time, but you know what it is though? It's rainbows and butterflies way more often.
Yes. Yes.
And it was not like that just even a year ago. It was not rainbows and butterflies most of the time.
Is there a key moment that you feel that shifted? Was there a belief that shifted that created more rainbows and butterflies for you?
There were several, but for me, the biggest one for me was trusting him to be the masculine container.
Ooh, that is a juicy one. Okay. We have to talk about masculine, feminine energy.
Sure.
Yeah.
I've just spent so much of my life in my masculine. I spent so much of my life in the hustle, in the go, in the structure, in the like leading, because here's the thing, I am a leader, 100%. That's just like my God-given, I have that bone in me. So I can tap into my masculine really easily. It's the feminine surrender and receiving and flow and trust and creativity that feels a little bit foreign to me because I was never taught that. I was never mirrored that. And a huge problem in our relationship is that I didn't trust him to be the leader. I didn't trust him to be the masculine leader and contain me and lead the way. And this is controversial, but and feminism is very important and has really done us a solid as women. And it's majorly fucked us in a lot of ways too.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are very confused. And I am a big proponent of going back to roles. I'm just going to say it, roles, because I think we are so different. And here's the thing, this is not about male and female. We all have masculine and feminine archetypes in us. It's about the energies. And sometimes I will be in the lead. When my partner is struggling and he needs a little bit of support, I will step up and lead. That's 100%. I will feel that, and that's okay. But I want to be in a relationship where I'm being led and I can soften and I can be in my feminine and I can receive and I can be in flow. And they can't do that if we're the ones trying to force and lead and push and guide. And like, if we're not willing to let go and trust, they can't possibly.
Totally.
They can't possibly. And I'm speaking for heterosexual relationships, but this is true for homosexual relationships as well.
Everyone has masculine and feminine energy. But whatever sex of a relationship that you're in, I have masculine and I have feminine energy. We all do.
Absolutely. And I just know, speaking from my female friends who are in heterosexual relationships, like the more we soften and we let go and we let them lead and we trust them, it's like most of the time unless we're with narcissists, unless we're with addicts, unless we're with bad guys and it's actually not a fit, we're with good men, and they want to help. They want to support us. They want to be in that role. We have to let them though.
Yes. This is like a conversation my husband and I had yesterday. I can totally relate to this. And how did that affect, as you're going through this realization of understanding your masculine and feminine energy, looking back, how is that balance between masculine and feminine perhaps even affecting your money mindset?
Yeah.
In your relationship as well? Because I know that a lot of women have this fear that, and it might be subconscious too, because it's all to do with our programming, that if I earn more money, or if I really truly step into my success, or if I really put myself out there, am I going to jeopardize my relationship, or am I going to belittle my man as a result of that? Was any of that coming up for you during this time?
No, not that specific story. I totally, understand that, but not that specific story. I'm with someone who's like very grounded and very in touch with his own worth. So when I had my highest paying month in January, and I brought in like 20 grand, he was like, what? He was like, oh my God. He was like so excited, and, so that itself wasn't the story, but I think for me, it was, I have to push and force and keep going. And that's what's going to make me money. And I have to do more and more and more. And that's what'll make me money.
Yeah.
And it's not true. It's not true. So coming back to your question of like the balance, I use my masculine in my business to create the structure for the things. So like, I'll create the course. I'll create the program. And that's also like the creative energy is the feminine too. But I'm just saying like, I'll create the structure for me to receive the money. I'll do the action. I'll go forward and I'll do the action 100%. But it's the structure that I create for myself that allows my feminine to go wild inside of it. And I love the analogy of like a bowl and oatmeal. The masculine is the bowl. The feminine is the oatmeal. The masculine holds us together. It doesn't hold us back. It just holds it together. It's the container. It makes, because the feminine is wild. It's like totally like out, like
untamed. I'm reading that book right now. It's untamed.
It's completely untamed. We need the masculine to have a bit of groundedness, So the masculine is the bowl, and the feminine is like the lumpy, gooey, watery, going everywhere oatmeal. We need each other. And so I'll create that container for myself so that my feminine can go wild. And so that for me, that looks like my morning routine. That looks like staying on my meditation practice. That looks like, taking action in my business, like the little things, like, writing the emails, doing like setting up the Kajabi, whatever, like, there's things that have to be done 100%. But it's because that I set up the structures for myself that my creativity and my flow and my receiving can go wild,
I love that you're using the word receiving, because I think we're in this amazing place as a society, and for us women and female business owners, where, let's face it, really the programming around what money is has been a very masculine energy. When we think of the word money, I'm sure we're thinking cold, we're thinking masculine, we're thinking hard work, and anything that's associated to that personally. But when you really think about what money is, it is an act of giving and receiving. So therefore, isn't it such a beautiful place to tap into our feminine, which is an energy of giving and receiving, and that you did that and received more as a result of it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think my body needed rest. I think after years of pushing, and I still go into that. I still sometimes go into like a little like, oh, you're going, and then pushing, and then being like, Stevie, no, you know this, girlfriend. Like that's. But I think after years of doing that, it's like my body needed rest, and now that I have this kind of juicy week, I'm like, oh my God. This is what I've been missing. Like, oh, this is so nice, to to work and then actually just be in flow for the rest of my week and hold really strong energetic boundaries with my clients and with my friends of like when I'm not available. And it's been everything.
Was there a belief looking back on a lot of the programming that you had from childhood about what money meant? What did money mean to you then? And what does it mean to you now?
Mm-hmm. Money meant worth. So my family was, I mean, we were not rich by any means, but we had everything that we needed. We were, we didn't ever struggle. And I'm very grateful for that. And what came with that is, I kind of got this memo from my family that people with money are better. Mm-hmm. And I even have like a little bit of embarrassment saying that, but it's just, it's just the truth. It's just the truth. And that's the reality I was raised in. And so I think I grew up forcing so much and pushing so much to achieve and succeed, because it's funny too, because I have that thing of success. Like it feels scary, but I also still want it. It's like that dichotomy. But yeah. I think I spent so much of my life pushing and forcing because I thought, okay, when I have the money, then I'll be worthy.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Only when.
Mm-hmm. Only when I have the money, then I'll be worthy. And I put such a I don't know what like a weight on money of what it means. And now money is like freedom. It just means opportunity, and it means fun, and it means taking care of the people in my life, and it means giving back. And, now it's like more of opportunity, and it means like, it just is like over abundance. Yes. Overabundance. It just gets to be something that I play with now. And now, honestly, it's something that I'm working on that I'm actually working with a coach with right now, is the practical financial part of money, like the saving, the investing. I'm like, like, I don't know. I'm like, I have no idea when it comes to that stuff. I'm learning, but, I'm working on that right now. But I mean, just to answer your question, the meaning of it, it's freedom, it's opportunity. And it's like, I also see money and abundance, because when we think about abundance, it's not just with money. There's abundance of trees, there's an abundance of air, there's an abundance of people, there's an abundance of flowers, there's an abundance of pillows. Like there's
I sometimes tell people, go look in your cutlery drawer. There's an abundance of knives and forks. Go look in your cupboard. There's an abundance of towels. Like you can find abundance everywhere.
There's abundance everywhere. And so I really look at it now as like, it's another form of love. There's an abundance of love too. There's so much love, not only in our hearts, but in the universe from the divine, that we can tap into at any moment. And I see, when I receive money, I receive love, and I think there's a lot of like, money's bad, money's evil. And I'm like, no, money is love.
Yes.
Money is love. And I put money back into the economy, and that's love. And it comes back to me, and that's love. I just see it as like this kind of ongoing cycle of in and out and in and out, and give and receive and back and forth. And it just, money never runs out. And, speaking I'm not sure when you're going to be posting this, Helena, but speaking right now with all the craziness going on with the coronavirus.
Yeah. So when we're recording this, just anyone listening, we're right at the peak of feeling a lot of shifts and changes with the coronavirus. So yeah, speaking into the fear and anxiety that some people might be having right now.
Yeah, it's, there's all this fear and panic going on, and fear is this kind of like, it's a second chakra emotion energy. And so when you have a whole bunch of fear stuck in your second chakra, there's not a lot of space for the energy to go up to those higher conscious chakras, the higher consciousness chakras. And then we're just stuck in this like low level kind of anxiety. And I did a live on this morning, like, talking again about the rainbows and butterflies. It's not rainbows and butterflies. There is a problem right now. there is a serious problem right now, 100%. And I'm not the asshole that's just like, it's light and love and positivity. And I will say, I am not buying into the fear. I am not buying into the panic. I'll be honest, like I was telling you right before we started this call, before we started recording, I think I have the coronavirus.
Yeah, you guys, Stevie actually thinks she has it. So thank you for coming on here still in your self-quarantine.
I think I have it. Like I'm fine. I just feel, and I'm taking care of myself. I'm totally quarantining. I'm absolutely not going around anyone, but I think I have it. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, here we go. It's an opportunity. I think this whole thing is an opportunity for us to go inward, for us to rest, for us to reflect and to meditate and to journal. And I'm not buying into the fear. Like, I'm going to take proaction. I'm going to wash my hands from a place of proaction and wanting to take care of myself and others. I'm going to stock up on supplies from a place of wanting to take care of myself and others. I'm not going to go into like, oh my God, wash my hands and scared and fear. It's like, that's not doing anything. And when I am, talk about, you're a leader, Helena, talk about leaders and people are begging to be led right now. People are scared. So the leaders need to step up. The leaders have to be the lighthouses. And the leaders are the ones who do need to perpetuate light and love and joy and grounded nature, because that is not, and all, plus being quarantined and staying in your house. Not
That's what I said this morning. I was like, the best thing that you can do is lead from an abundant mindset right now and shine your light, as well as self-isolate.
As well as stay indoors.
Yes, please do.
But, I'm going to show up for my audience. I mean, what else do I have to do? I have to be in my house for the next 2 weeks. Like, I'm going to show up for my audience 10 times more because people are scared and we have to come together. And I was talking about it on my live this morning. Like, come feel into and tap into your resiliency. Tap into the light that is within you at all times. Tap into the love that is within you at all times, and use this next however long, several weeks, to go into yourself. Go into the thing that you've been avoiding. Go into the fear and be with it and love it. And I think it's honestly the perfect. I just invested into a new coach, and I think it's the most important time to keep funneling money into the economy, to invest in your well-being, to invest in your mental health. And it's just like, anyways, you get it.
I agree because if we are in this incredible space as online business owners right now, where we are already set up for this. We are used to working from home. Our businesses are all set up through online transactions. And if we can act from an abundant place, we are going to support every human being because we're acting from an abundant mindset. We have more stability within ourselves to invest more money in other online businesses, and we can help counteract some of this fear. And you shared what your story is with me before I hit record on what you tell yourself, and I'd love you to share that with the audience.
Wait, remind me, what are we talking about?
It was around, you're like,
I tell myself lots of things.
We have so many stories. It was about the abundance around your business and what the story is that you're telling yourself. And you're like, I choose for it to not affect my business. And I love that. You're so confident in that.
That's it. It's like, I have chosen that to believe that nothing affects my business. I'm the only one that affects my business. My energy affects my business. And the coronavirus, the stock market, the fear, the panic, anything that does not affect my business. That is the belief that I'm integrating. That is the belief that I'm taking to heart. And that is what I'm seeing also. That's what is also still present for me. Like, people are still reaching out to learn about my programs, and people are still reaching out to, get support. And I'm having, and it's also like, I'm supporting my community like crazy. I'm doing a free group coaching call on Wednesday to talk to this stuff and to talk to the fear and to help people with the tools for the anxiety and help people feel grounded again. So, I want to be there for my community in all the ways. So, but yeah, I refuse to believe that anything's going to tank it's just not. That's not how I choose.
And when you choose that story so solidly, that is what you see.
Yeah.
And our stories affect everything around us. We have the power. Everyone listening right now, what is the story that you are going to pick? Is it going to empower you and bring you the results and the life that you want? Or is it going to be from a place of disempowerment? Mm-hmm. And we all have that choice. Yeah. So speaking into that and almost feeling like it's worth saying, it's almost the best time to invest in coaching or other online businesses or do the deep inner healing work, because we have more space to do that right now. Mm-hmm. How can my audience find you, and what are some of the things that you do with your clients and the work that you do and the modalities that you use?
Yeah. So my website is steviewright.co. I hang out on Instagram all the time at StevieLWright_. And I have a incredibly transformative 6-month one-on-one program. And that is really for the woman who is looking to step into her power, the woman who knows she's meant for more, the woman who's sick of playing small, the woman who is ready to release her anxiety, the woman who is ready to dig into some of those old woundings that are holding her back in her adulthood. And she might not even know what those are yet. And I didn't either. And that's why it's so important to get some support, to get some help. But it's for the woman who really knows she's meant for more, but just needs a little bit of help getting there and wants to feel into what it means to love herself and to be with herself and to accept herself. So I use all sorts of different tools in my tool belt. I use the breathwork. I use my signature AWC method, which is awareness, willingness, and connection. First couple months are all about awareness. Let's get clear on what the stories actually are that you've been perpetuating for years and years. What are the beliefs you have? Like, let's pop the hood and understand what's actually going on. Next couple months are all about willingness, a willingness to dive deep, a willingness to do the work, a willingness to feel, a willingness to show up for yourself, and then connection to your truth, connection to your voice, connection to your power, connection to your higher self, connection to the divine. These 3 elements are the keys in personal transformation, and that is what gets my clients such incredible transformation. So come say hi on Instagram. You can do a free consultation and we'll get to know each other a little bit. And
yeah, she shares some amazing lives and really raw and vulnerable posts. It's where it's at. I'm all about that. So we'll drop your information in the show notes below if you guys didn't catch her handle. And yeah, go tag her and say hi, and I just listen to the episode and let her know what your biggest takeaway is, because it's amazing for us to hear from you and actually get real life responses and know that you guys are listening. So thank you so much for joining us in your self-quarantined coronavirus state.
You are so welcome. Thanks, Anna. I really appreciate you having me.
Thank you.
If you loved today's episode, please be sure to leave a review on iTunes and hit the subscribe button, because women supporting women is my jam. And if you want extra daily doses of motivation, then be sure to follow me on Instagram at girl_unfiltered. And go ahead and screenshot this episode, send me a DM, and share your biggest takeaway, because I love hearing from you and I just really want to drop into your DMs, basically. So I'm sending you so much love and abundance, and have an amazing day.